Before the podcast gets started today, please remember to like, subscribe, and share the show with anybody who you think may enjoy a nice, relaxing podcast. Alrighty, guys, we'll talk to you in a little bit. Welcome back, everybody, to the greatest podcast that you've never heard of. I mean, I should say more like a good podcast you've never heard of, but let me relate it to an episode of Spongebob where he visits the rock bottom of Bikini Bottom. Now, that's more like the greatest rock bottom show you've never heard of, but that's the best part about being born in the 90s, is that you can relate almost anything, and I mean almost anything in life, to an episode of SpongeBob. Now, I feel like this generation is kind of getting screwed over with SpongeBob because, you know, I recently sat down and I wanted to just watch what's going on in SpongeBob. Yes, I know. A 24-year-old guy sitting down watching SpongeBob. Is it normal? I don't know. Is it okay? Probably. Is it weird? Yeah, I would say so. But, you know, this day and age, SpongeBob is weird, I would say. It is gross. Oh, no, not gross, but some episodes I see is just like, oh, that doesn't look right. Because there's this one newer episode where I think they're moving a couch, him and Squidward, and one of the feet of the couch gets caught on Squidward's tentacle, and you could see the toenail of his tentacle just like getting ripped or whatever it is. That almost made me gag. I was like, nope, can't do it. Turn it off. But that's more like this show. It is the toenail on your foot underneath your toenail. That's where the show lies. So I initially was trying to figure out how to reintroduce the show, trying to figure out how to bring back the show. Now, oh my god, I never introduced the show. Holy shit. I am so sorry. Welcome back to Coffee with Chase, everybody. I'm your host, Chase. And if you're just tuning in or you're coming back, I initially started this show to help me figure out what's going on in life, try and help myself to cope with my depression and my anxiety. And, you know, from the very roots of the show, that's what it's all been about. Just helping not only myself, but to anybody who really listened, that, you know, you're not alone. You can get through this, and whatever you're doing right now in life, you're alive and you're doing well. So don't give up, and don't I don't know what to say, but don't give up, because you're doing just fine. But as I was saying, you know, it feels really great to be back. And I wanted to bring the show back because, you know, I've been struggling, I would say. I've been in that vicious cycle of trying to figure out what I'm doing in life and how to go about it. But the one thing I was truly missing in my cycle of life, or as many people think, a simulation of life is the show, because I was doing it for a good 6-month period every weekend, and I was sitting outside recording the show. As you can hear the audio interference from the birds chirping, I hope you guys understand, and I hope it's bearable to put up with. But I initially started the show sitting outside using my old beatdown Beats by Dre, and I bought a new microphone, and I hope it sounds decently okay, but I hope you guys do understand, because the show was missing from my life. And as I was saying, 6-month period every weekend, and then it's just like I up and just dropped everything because I was so afraid of, if people like the show, the numbers it was doing. I was so afraid of posting on social media about the show, because I'm not the type of person to post about myself and be okay with it, because whenever I post something on Instagram or social media, whether it be about the show or about myself, also, by the way, please follow our official Coffee with Chase Instagram page. Exactly how it sounds, exactly what the show is, exactly the way the show is spelled. No additives. You can find us on that, or you can find us on YouTube. But I was saying, posting on social media is very difficult for someone who is struggling, because you struggle with the fact, like I said, numbers, if people will like it, how it does, and just the mental toll it takes. And you may or may not realize that the mental toll of posting on social media is terrifying, because when you post something, you play that waiting game of likes, people commenting, and just the thought of what it's doing, or the thought of people scrolling past it and just like, what's wrong with me, or what am I doing? What am I doing wrong? But if you're posting on social media, be unequivocally your true self and be confident in what you're doing, because that's getting lost today. The true meaning of social media is posting only highlights. Now, it's okay to post your highlights. I'm not saying it's wrong, but be unequivocally yourself, because at the end of the day, that's what people come for, is you being yourself, not being a dickhead, not being an asshole, not being a douchebag. I'm sorry for using those words, but that's the only thing that really came to mind. But, when it comes to social media, don't be afraid to be yourself. Oops, sorry. As I'm sitting outside, a fly just came and buzzed past my head. I don't like bugs in general, anyways. And I'm sorry to bring this story up, but it's like, with my girlfriend, she doesn't like bugs either. So, fellas, ladies, I don't know if you can relate to this, but when your significant other doesn't want to kill a bug, or sees a bug and tells you to kill it, I don't want to kill it either. Like, I'm terrified of bugs. So when it's either a spider or a fly, a bee, like, I don't want to kill that thing. What if I drop it? Then it's lost forever in this crazy thing, in the crazy place. I don't want to kill that thing. That thing will kill me. It's probably just this little tiny speck. It's this little tiny spider, and I will freak out. Like, I don't know if anybody else is like that, but I will lose my shit when it comes to that. But anyways, I just want to say I'm so sorry for the birds chirping. If you guys can hear, you guys probably can, because it sounds like they're right on the roof, or right like on the trees behind me. But I saw this story on Spotify. Yeah, you may be wondering, how can you see stories on Spotify? But when you're listening to your favorite artist, sometimes they give like little behind the lyrics, and tells you a story about the artist and about how they got their start, tells you about the lyrics and whatnot. So recently I was listening to one of my favorite artists. I love rap music, so I was listening to one of my favorite rap artists, and it was telling the story about one of his, I would say, newest songs, but one of his songs that rose him to fame, brought him to fame. And it was telling the story about how he got started and the microphone he was using. And I never related so much to this, because it was, as I was reading the story, it was saying how he went to the store, he bought this specific microphone, and how it was total ass, and he needed to put a sock over it to help with the pop filter. And it come to find out, he was talking exactly about the microphone I'm using right now. He bought the same microphone, and I've never felt something so much before that I was like, ooh, that one hurt just a little, because I almost did the same exact thing he did. Went to the store, bought the cheapest microphone I can find, $50 worth, and it's probably ass, but I guess it works for right now. But I was like, ow, that hurt to my deepest core. Like, come at my life while I'm at work listening to music. It's like, ow, that hurt just a little. But it's functioning, so I can't complain. I'm never the type of person to complain about anything. I just roll with the punches and try and figure out this crazy world we live in. But it's nice, because as we go along, the world is slowly opening up, and it's really nice to see, because as I told you guys before, in what I would call the old season or old catalog of episodes, I told you guys about my COVID journey. I was I tested positive for COVID at the very beginning of this year. So essentially December 30th, 31st. I don't know my exact days and months, so please forgive me. Or the 31st of December, 1st of January, whatever the case may be. I had COVID, and I had side effects. So I was very much itching to get the vaccine. And as the months went on, the vaccine rollout slowly began to happen. And so one day I was at work, and my girlfriend told me, you need to get on this website, fill out this information, because they're giving out vaccines really close to home. There's no 2-hour drive, 3-hour drive to go get the first shot of the vaccine. So I'm like, okay, bet. Hop on the website, fill out everything, got my appointment for the vaccine. So I'm like, score, I'm finally getting what I've always not dreamed of getting, but wanted to get, because I had side effects of the vaccine. No, not the vaccine. I had side effects from COVID, so I was very much itching to get it, and those side effects hurt. They hurt like a son of a bitch. And like I said in previous episodes, I told you about the journey. I told you about where it led me to in my first hospital visit, and just feeling, I would say, the hurt from my lungs. I had an inflammation of my lung lining. I think that's what they said. But that, I've never felt so much pain before. Like, it hurt so much that, like, every day I would feel this pain from the very point I woke up to the very point I fell asleep. And I never want to feel that pain ever again. So, fast forward, wanting to get the vaccine. Got the vaccine, and, I feel great. Like, I feel, like, great to the point where I can finally visit my grandparents and other family members without having to worry about wearing a mask, because most of my family is vaccinated. And, it feels great to finally just go to their house, sit down and, like, just talk or have dinner, because, the vaccine's rolling out. People are getting out and doing things. People are going out to sporting events. Like, people were at the Super Bowl. People were at the NFL draft. People are at concerts now. People are at UFC events. The Jake Paul fight versus Ben Askren. That's a very controversial topic still. People still think he's not a fighter, but he, to me, is proving that he has the ability to knock anybody out. Because in his last two fights, he knocked, an NBA player, ex-NBA player, out. But then he knocked out a former UFC fighter. But yes, it looked like Ben Askren wasn't really into the fight. But knocking out a UFC fighter, that goes to show something. That has to prove something to somebody, that he has the power to do this in the sport of boxing. And people are all in uproar. Oh, yada, yada, yada. He needs to fight a real boxer. He just fought and knocked out a UFC fighter. And those guys are some of the toughest dudes in the entire world. So, I'm putting respect on Jake Paul's name, and I'll leave it at that. But where was I before? Oh, yes. The world reopening, getting back to normalcy, and we're all getting essentially reintroduced to the basics of the world. Everybody is getting reintroduced to each other. We're able to go to local coffee shops, and people are not really afraid anymore. People converse. People talk. Like, we're slowly getting acclimated to, hopefully, life again. Like, it's getting nice outside. People are getting restless. Now, it's still a little chilly in Buffalo. No. Yes, in Buffalo. That's where I'm from. Western New York. New York State. States all around the U.S. Places all around the world. People are going outside again. People want to, see each other again. And it's beautiful to see. Because human interaction, social interaction, has gotten lost. People, try to do it online, but it's not the same. we miss and we crave the one-on-one human interaction. And I miss that very much so too. I'm sorry about that, guys. I had to take a quick break because I forgot how much this hurts my throat talking for so long. I'm not the type of person who really enjoys conversating with myself, because I'm essentially just staring at a wall right now. But when I talk for a long period, throat gets itchy. I needed some water. But anyways, guys, I was saying, I think that people, if I remember correctly, that, people are slowly getting acclimated and, craving social interaction, craving just the one-on-one interaction. And I was saying very much so that, people just want to get out. We want to enjoy fresh air. We want to not wear masks anymore. But we still need to do that. We still need to do our part in fighting against this virus. Please, I'm not talking to you specifically, but I'm just broadcasting my thoughts in general. People still need to wear their masks. People still need to practice social distancing. But if you're vaccinated, you feel more at ease, I think. But you still need to practice and follow social guidelines. But I want to go back to normal. I've been saying that ever since this fucking thing started. Yes, this is a podcast where I swear. So please forgive me. I don't know how many times I've dropped F-bombs or just words in general. So please, I hope you can put up with it. You don't mind, but that's just me. I sometimes have no filter with swear words. I'm not talking about my thoughts, because I know when to pause my thoughts or halt things I want to say, because I sometimes hate when people do that. Yes, it's a good thing and a bad thing at the same time. But sometimes words, thoughts, ideas hurt other people. And I don't like when people are hurt. I don't like when people feel a sense of being attacked for what they say, or being attacked for what somebody else says. And this is what this podcast is all about as well. This is a safe place, a safe haven for anybody and everybody. This, as I was saying in episodes before, this is what this show is all about. A safe place for, as I said, anybody and everybody, just to sit down, relax, listen to a very not soothing voice, a very rough sounding voice, just a dude with his thoughts, man. So, I hope you guys don't mind putting up with me. But, I'm excited. I guess that's the one thing I'm trying to send out. Is just, I am excited to finally get back to a sense of normal. Because for so long, like I said, all we had was social interaction through a telephone, through a computer screen, through Zoom. But now it's finally good being almost face to face with somebody, finally interacting. But one of my favorite artists, I have to tell you guys this quick story, and then we'll probably get out of here. But my favorite artist of all time, I said this before on the show, Machine Gun Kelly. He recently came out with probably one of his greatest albums to date. Everybody knows it, Tickets to My Downfall. And I've been bumping that shit ever since it came out. And I really never had the chance to see him before. I seen him once before on a tour with Fall Out Boy, and I seen him right before he dropped the Eminem diss track. I think it Rap Devil, and he filmed that. Piece of history right here. He filmed that video in Buffalo, right next to our stadium, the KeyBank Center. Little tidbit of history right there. But his album Tickets to My Downfall is front to back amazing. It's a pop punk album, so people who like, I'd say, Blink-182 will like that album because Travis Barker is on that album. So it's just an awesome all around album. I think all of his albums are awesome, but I was able to see him before, and I really want to see him again, but I don't think I'm at that point right now to go back to concerts, because at the same time I'm still kind of afraid to see and be around other people. Like, I'm not ready at that point for concerts just yet, I think, but that would be so fucking awesome to go back to a concert and have it be Machine Gun Kelly and just rock out at his concert. But tickets are selling out so fast, and I want to be able to see my favorite artist in concert, but just during the time of COVID, I don't feel comfortable yet, but that would be so awesome. Anyways, sorry for the rambling, but I just want to say thank you again for once again joining me, sitting down and listening to just a dude and his thoughts, for putting up with the interaction of the birds, as you can hear them chirping, hopefully probably right now, but just putting up with the audio interference, putting up with me, and getting reacclimated or reintroduced to the greatest podcast that you've never heard of. That wraps up the show, everybody. I want to thank you once again for joining me for a little coffee with Chase. So I hope you guys like the brand new episode. As I said in the very beginning, remember to like, subscribe, and please help me out with sharing the show with anybody who you may think and who you may know that will hopefully enjoy the show, because I want to get this out there to anybody who will listen, anybody who may be struggling, anybody who may need a safe place to go to not feel judged, to not feel attacked or anything. So please do all those lovely things, and come back hopefully next week or the week after that to join me for another episode. And I want to say this, I know I'm ending the show, but I just want to say this. I am trying to get back to posting an episode every weekend like I did before. Now, there may be some times where I go a couple weeks without posting, but I want to get back to the schedule of posting episodes, getting out my thoughts, helping myself, and hopefully helping you, the listener, just feel okay in this world. Like, feel a sense of normalcy and being unequivocally yourself. And with that, everybody, thank you again for joining me for another episode of Coffee with Chase. I will talk to you guys hopefully next week or the week after that. But I love you guys. I appreciate you. And yeah, that's the show.